What's up, my friends? Matt in the car, martial arts training in the car with Matt. That's me from TRITAC. And today we're talking about how to continue training, how to get back into training, how to keep your training mojo going. If you suffered an injury, if you had a new life event, maybe you got a new baby, new house, all those type of things. Or maybe you're a bit older and injured like myself and you need to, keep the training going for your mental health, for your physical health, for your all-around, growth as a human. So if you're new to this channel, I'm going to wipe my glasses really quick. If you're new to this channel, we are a martial arts system in school. Our gym is located in Cromwell, Connecticut. We have one of the largest gyms, martial arts gyms in New England. That's where we're heading right now. I'm about to do a private lesson with two of my students. And the topic today was how, keeping training, how to keep active. A little bit more tailored to you guys who are in, let's say, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Judo, wrestling, or maybe some of the striking arts like Muay Thai or Kyokushin or boxing. And you're a bit older like myself, I'm 48, or like I said earlier, you're coming back from injuries or you have some limitations. How do you keep progressing? How do you keep growing when you're dealing with some shit? So why I was thinking about this topic today was because I'm going to train with Leon and Nate. Leon is a brown belt in Kobukai Jiu-Jitsu and a blue belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Nate is a white belt in BJJ, though he's been training very, very consistently for, I would say, over a year now. And we have our promotions December. We might promote him. He might watch this, so I don't want to give it away. We'll see what happens. Okay, so today's the first day I'm going to roll with them in a very long time. Nate, I've rolled before. Leon, I haven't rolled in a long time since my neck surgery. I just started rolling again recently. If you guys aren't familiar with that, or you are not jiu-jitsu people, rolling is an act of sparring. Basically, anything goes. You just can't hit each other, right? We approach rolling a little differently in TRITAC. We try to make it as real as possible. You have to start standing in my school. There is no pulling guard. We mostly train in no-gi or rash guard shorts type of thing, or spats, whatever you want to do. And it's a blend of Japanese Jiu-Jitsu, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and wrestling. So that is our core, let's say, TRITAC Jiu-Jitsu system. Cool. So I do these privates, and that's what we do these classes, and that's what they're learning. All right. So the challenge is, I had neck surgery a year and a half ago. I'm older now, and how do we, let's put a we in there. How do we still keep, I don't want to say relevant, but like still progressing, right? Because if you look at the younger generation, they're fucking skyrocketing with their knowledge, and it's so cool to watch, right? I'm so happy to be involved in this time of the evolution of martial arts. But I want to still be relevant in it too. You know what I mean? I want to still keep my training up. I want to still keep growing. I never wanted to be one of those guys who just puts their hands in their pockets or their gi belts and say, yeah, look at this, and no. I'm like, man, those guys that's a dying breed, you know what I mean? They're like, to keep relevant in martial arts nowadays, you have to be studying it and involved. But it doesn't mean we have to spend 5 days a week, 6 days a week training on the mat, breaking our bodies in every which way to achieve some medal, right? That's not our goal. All right, I'm talking to the little older generation now. So our goal is the progression, personal development, health, mental, physical, and how do you do that when you have limited time and all that? So here's my thought on this, that everybody should be trying 2.5 times a week, meaning, or 10 times a month. All right, this is average 4 weeks a month, blah, blah, blah. So if you're training 2 to 3 times a week and maybe putting an hour to 2 hours, I would prefer to see a little bit longer, like, hour and a half to 2 hours per session, that's about, 5 hours a week overall, maybe a little bit more. That is really, I would argue that's a good, solid, base. That's what everybody's just trying for. Even if you only can do an hour. Having that 3, 4, 5 hours a week that you're allowed to spend on yourself, spend on your development of self, spend with your friends, learn some martial arts, keep the fire and energy going, because you know as well as I do, there's no better feeling than leaving the mat after you've had a great training session. Even if the day earlier was freaking hell, if you go on that mat, you train well, you sweat, you move hard, you get some of that energy out, that aggression out, oh man, it's one of the best feelings in the world. And another reason why I actually wanted to do this, because on Sunday we started a new MMA class. And it's like, for us, when I say MMA, if you guys are not familiar with my school, I mean a general term that it's like we are fighting with a limited rule set. When I do teach MMA, for you guys who are familiar with some of the TRITAC history, we used to have unique systems or like subsystems in TRITAC. One was TRITAC unarmed, which was 80% striking, and then the rest would be, let's say, 15% grappling, and the other 5% would be like survival tactics, especially like with a stick or a knife, a little bit of gun in there as well. And then TRITAC Jitsu was the almost exact opposite, that 80% was striking, 10-15% was, reverse that. 80% was grappling, 10-15% was striking. Actually, I'd probably say 10% was striking, 10% was combatives, because there's a lot more weapons involved in the Jitsu system. And then our TRITAC combative system was a toned down blend of both. But when you do TRITAC at our school, we have MMA and jiu-jitsu, just for like blanket simple terms. You're striking one day with a thought process, anything can happen. Then you're grappling one day with a thought process, anything can happen. Okay, so on Sunday, started this new session, 10 a.m., where I think I'm gonna do live stream this. We'll see what happens. Where the plan was, we did pretty well, that we'll spend about 15, 20 minutes in a heavy bag. We have a pretty cool kickboxing area. So going in from the bobs, the heavy bags, the double end bags, the slip bag, we've had a lot of fun just playing, and you had different like goals in each section. So that took about 15 minutes. Then we went on the mat, and of course we've been working a lot of defense. I always work on defense, and since I was going to get involved, I wanted to actually work on defense myself too, because I didn't want to just, for this particular day, I wanted to coach, but also like I didn't want to coach a meeting. I wanted to lead the session, but I wanted to like get into it again. It felt like, looking back at this Sunday, it felt like way back in the day when I started teaching like 18, 19 years ago, where it wasn't a class I was leading like a training session that, we just wanted extra time to train, so we used that dojo to train, okay? Now, so Saturday I got to, experience all that. We did, I got to do a lot of bag work, which I've been trying to do anyways, a couple times a week. I would like to see that increase a little bit, to be honest with you. And then I got to do some drill work with offense, defense work with Nate, who actually going to work with right now. And Nate's he's like a little older than me, but about my height, but a little leaner than me. Very healthy, vegan, strong guy, athletic. He has a deep martial arts background as well. Used to have his own school, teaches kids. Cool guy. Nate's a fucking dude. Nate's a man. But I was working with Nate, and it was just a lot of fun. And I'm like, man, I miss this. And it was one of the reasons why I thought about this topic, was that I think sometimes myself included, we put this a lot of stress around training, right? The reason this topic exists is because you're probably stressed out about, man, I'm not training enough. I'm not getting enough work in on the mat. I'm not making the progress I want. And man, I feel that every single day. So, I mean, if I'm feeling, I'm sure probably someone else out there is feeling it too. And we tend to compare ourselves to the younger generation, the Gordon Ryans, the athletes of the world, like, wow, we should be able to do that, really keep that, have that level. And it's obviously that's not a thing. We don't have that time. So that in order to truly, I think, be happy with our progression and be happy the pace, we have to remember that this shit's a lot of fun. This is just cool, right? You get to train martial arts to become the 0.1% of the world who does something really fucking powerful for themselves. And I, even though I live and breathe it every single day, have to remind myself that, wow, I really love this. Like, this is, like, I couldn't imagine doing anything else in life. I'd be insane, absolutely insane. Now, some of you may not have that insanity that I do, but I know there's something in you, because most of you are men, and most of you have that warrior spirit inside, and part of being a warrior is combat, right? So I believe it's healthy for us and a necessity for us to express our combative nature, express our violence, and in a fun, healthy way. And if we don't do that, I feel like compounds, like a compounding effect, right? And I'll be very, very personal with you right now. I've been dealing with off and on like mental struggle. I want to call it depression, but a little bit of like this, like I'm working very hard. I'm so passionate about TRITAC. I'm just pouring everything into it right now. And I'm telling myself this is a hardcore season. Now I'm trying to grow it. But it's caused my like physical health to suffer a bit, caused my martial arts training to suffer a bit, where I just don't feel as like interested as I remember being, if that makes sense. Where it started feeling like a chore a little bit, and that kind of sucked. And even though I would jump on a mat sometimes, like I would roll every now and then, I'd have a couple good experiences, a couple good rolls, and the other ones I don't know, it was like it gave me an icky feeling again with my neck. I'm like, I just don't know. I have had a lot of fun working the bag and thinking a lot more about like overall MMA structure and development, but at the same time, it makes me feel like I'm slacking in my jiu-jitsu development. I still believe jiu-jitsu in all its encompassing words of grappling, both combative and sport, is still arguably one of the most powerful martial arts. I'm not just talking about butt scooting, guard pulling, Mikey Mustameshi jiu-jitsu. If you guys don't know who that is, just Google it. Incredible martial artist, incredible, very, very skilled grappler, but he's a modern grappler. Sits to his ass and tangles up legs. Small guy, makes sense. Okay, so jiu-jitsu, I think, is when you combine all of it, the Japanese jiu-jitsu, the combatives, the takedowns, as well as all the ground fighting from BJJ. It's just a really complete martial art. It really is an amazing system. So, not keeping on the pulse as much as I would like to be is a bit of it makes you like sad sometimes. And I know it's because I'm not rolling as much as I used to. I can feel like I did roll Sunday. I actually had 5 rolls on Sunday. That was great. I had fun every single one of them. Even Big Dave. Big Dave is a Middletown fire chief. This dude, he's a fucking great guy. Holy fuck. He's like maybe 280, if not bigger. I mean, this dude, like, I don't know if he ever competed in powerlifting, but he looks like one of those guys, right? He's just a fucking tank. And so I was rolling that day, and he's like, hey, you want to roll light? I'm like, knowing in the back of my mind, like, you may say light, Dave, but there's nothing light about you. But it was a lot of fun, and he was cool. Just tried to squeeze the fuck out of me. He's so strong. It was cool, though, because it actually brings in another part of this conversation I wanted to have, because it taught me a lot, and I have to remember this. And as I'm going to train right now, I'm trying to tell myself again this. Okay, so way back to the recap, we said that, when you're getting older, blah, 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 or injuries, etc., that it's tough to find your motivation again to get training, and there's always this resistance or limitations that show up. Martial arts is fun. We should explore it. We know it's good for us, but sometimes there's this thing, especially if you've been out for a while and coming back into it. You'll never be what you were before. You can build up to that in higher level, but when you're first coming back, it ain't like that. So, which brings me to my final kind of statement on this, is one of the biggest secrets to martial arts and combat overall is defense, okay? The ability to defend and escape and not get dead, right? So, when you are training, or if you're getting back into training again, if you're about to roll or spar again, whatever it is, anything live action, and typically for us jiu-jitsu guys who do a lot of jiu-jitsu, like that's what we live for, is that live action. I consider it violent meditation or aggressive meditation. It's like pure, the brain is quiet for a second, and it just performs. And for me, who has a very active and wild, chaotic brain, those moments in time are just glorious, absolute glorious. Like there's nothing in the world that exists besides that moment. It's amazing, okay? So, the problem is when we get very excited in those moments, we tend to like go too far, again, especially coming back, and you hurt yourself. At least I have, or you have false expectations. So defense, escapes, relaxing, surviving under the pressure is, I think, what the goal should be. It's what my goal is. I'm gonna fuck trying to do anything cool lately. I'm just gonna be like that guy who moves and gets out of shit. There's another guy we train with, I'm not gonna say his name, more experienced. He kind of plays, I would say, similar mindset game, but it goes about it the wrong way. He's a little thicker, a little bigger, a little dense, and he kind of just, it's interesting. I don't want to get into it, but sometimes I don't call him a student. Sometimes I don't even call him a training partner. Sometimes people who show up at the gym have different ways of approaching martial arts. Let's put it that way. So, not everybody. I think our community is 99% fucking awesome. Every now and then we gotta deal with some outliers, and not outliers because we're all outliers, but every now and then we gotta, accept people's oddities. Totally off tangent topic, but we're on it. All right. So yes, defense first. I preach this all the time. It's no big secret, but I'm giving you permission. I'm giving myself permission to not care about winning, even though I say that. Even though I'm like, I'll preach, I'm not going to care about winning right now. I'm just going to care about having fun. I still care about winning. I fucking hate to admit, I'm sorry. I'm a human being, I'm a man. When I'm on a mat, I want to win. I don't know what to tell you. But I want to win now. I want to redefine my win. I want my win to not dying, not getting hurt, feeling like no man can do anything to me. That, go ahead, bro. I'm going to get out of this. I'm alive. You can't choke me. You can't break me, etc., etc., etc. And that's cool. So that's kind of number one I'm focusing on. And two would be movement. And so I think this will be exceptional for all martial artists, not just those who are recovering from injuries or getting back to training again. Ryan Hurst, one of my very good friends, runs GMB, gymnastics. It used to be, is it gymnastics movement? No, it's not gymnastics movement body, it's something else. But GMB.io is the website. And years ago, before COVID, I signed up for one of his programs called Elements. And oh my God, it's simplistic in nature. There's a lot of crawling and animal-based movements with like some gymnastics, like strength training and stretching and mobility in there. One of the absolute best programs I've ever gone through. Me and my buddy, actually a few of us, would wake up very early in the morning. We get here at 6 in the morning, and then we do our GMB drills together. And it was, man, my mobility increased greatly. So that is something that I am now like wanting to focus a bit more on again, is my movement and flexibility, my mobility. My joints are really beat up too. So we have a hot tub at our house, and it's just big enough for me to do some mobility drills. And I go in there at least, not every day, but just pretty close to it. Just like decompress, but also I think it's doing some mobility in there. So movement and training, like proper footwork, relaxing, having like good control of your body, and just being that not snake, but very just controlled, but flexible and mobile, that you just feel light and athletic. And that's really what I want to feel. I want to feel athletic. And a lot of that I'm trying to find, or what I want to find, increased movement with jiu-jitsu and rolling with smaller people. And I actually do. We have a strong women's community here, and I do tend to roll with women. We all do. And there are few women I've been training with for many years, so they trust that I'm not going to be an asshole, and we can have very technical rolls. And that's what I sometimes do like rolling with women, is that you, as a training partner, especially, I'm a bigger guy sometimes too, definitely going to be bigger than a woman, but I am forced to remove all strength from the equation and try to be purely technical and movement oriented. And if I fuck up, I punish myself for it. Does that make sense? Like, oh, I didn't have something clean, even though I tried to do smooth, blah, blah, and I missed it. I'm like, all right, like they got that position, they countered, etc. So like the movement and the fluidity, as well as my escape and defense, I think it's just going to be the most important thing for my next season of martial arts development. And there's Leon. Yeah, with without those two things, I don't know if I'll be able to like truly keep up with the martial arts Joneses. I need to be on the mat. I'm on the mat every single day, but I need to be more. I need to be learning as well on the mat. And yes, I can learn by teaching and showing and studying, and I do a lot of shadow work by myself to kind of like review what I'm going to work on each day. But sometimes it's not enough. Like I need that training partner, and I get to play around, but not really the way I want. And I need to find that like happiness again, that peace in martial arts, and that only comes from really training it and doing it. And so I'm excited to jump in and train with these guys today. And long Matt in the car, martial arts training in the car with Matt, that's me. But hopefully you guys got something out of that. And I'm going to close with this final thought. If you're any one of those things, any of those people who are going through some shit, and there's that resistance getting in the way, like I would remind yourself like a couple things. One, you started this and did this for a reason. It's good for you. We almost need this. Two, if you're just getting back, don't expect to be the guy you were. Like, take yourself down 2 or 3 years. You know what I mean? Like, if you're only out for 6 months, pretend you were out for like 2 years. Or like pretend you just started again. Be smart. There's no reason to like force this. And 3, just like have fun. Like, this shit's cool. It really does like change this. It's so beneficial for us. We just got to do it. We just got to do more of it and do it the right way. You know what I mean? And set a goal 2.5 times a week, 10 times a month. I think that's pretty easily achievable for myself and you. I'm going to try to do a little bit more. That's it, guys. Matt in the car, martial arts training car with Matt. That's me from TRITAC.